He looked at me and said, "I am about to make some serious money." Then he pulled out something to prove it. I asked, "You really about to secure that bag?" He nodded confidently and said, "Absolutely." What he showed me was wild. It had names, like Charli Baltimore, Cameron, Lil Cease, Lil Kim, the whole junior MAFIA, and even Tracy Lee. And then there was the commission. The contract, as I heard, was locked in for several years and totaled around $62 million. When I caught wind of that, I couldn't help but say, "Wow, did you all hear that?" Apparently, Charli Baltimore was one of the few Biggie trusted to leave with him when he was thinking about jumping ship from Diddy's Bad Boy Records with that massive $62 million deal. Rumor has it that Biggie opened up to Charli Baltimore, spilling not only about his plans, but also revealing some explosive secrets. We're talking about confidential information involving Diddy himself and even Biggie's wife, Faith Evans. This wasn't casual chit-chat. These were serious confessions, accusations, and maybe even warnings. And now, with Diddy facing his trial, Charli is reportedly feeling it's the perfect moment to finally share everything Biggie confided in her. There are whispers, quiet, yet persistent whispers, that have been circulating in certain circles, far from the public eye. These whispers carry heavy claims, allegations that reach into one of hip-hop's darkest and most tragic moments, the death of Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G, or simply Biggie. According to those privy to insider knowledge, Charli Baltimore, a close confidant and once romantic partner of Biggie, has been saying behind closed doors that both Sean Combs, popularly known as Diddy or Puff Daddy, and Faith Evans, Biggie's widow, were fully aware of the truth surrounding Biggie's untimely death. This is a claim that, if true, would shake the foundations of what fans and the hip-hop community have believed for decades. Charli Baltimore's assertions are particularly intriguing because they come from someone who was deeply entwined with Biggie's life during his rise to stardom. Not just a fleeting acquaintance, Charli shared personal moments and significant chapters with Biggie, including emotional highs and lows, which gave her a unique vantage point into his world. That she would allege such knowledge on the part of both Diddy and Faith Evans adds layers of complexity to an already tangled narrative. This supposedly explains why Faith Evans has been so fiercely protective and vocal in defending Diddy whenever the subject of Biggie's death arises in public discourse. Many have wondered why Faith has maintained such unwavering loyalty to Diddy, despite the swirling rumors and conspiracy theories that suggest his involvement. Charli's claims hint at a possible reason. Faith's defense of Diddy might stem from her own knowledge, or perhaps complicity, regarding what truly happened. But here is where the story takes a turn grounded in personal conviction and understanding. Despite these claims and the persistent rumors, I firmly believe that Puff Daddy would never harm Biggie. It's hard to imagine Sean Combs, who was not only Biggie's producer and mentor, but also his close friend, orchestrating or being involved in any plot against one of his best friends. Their relationship transcended the typical business artist-producer dynamic. It was deeper, built on trust and loyalty, qualities that are rare and precious in the often cutthroat music industry. In fact, their bond was something I never had with Puff, so when I say this with confidence, it comes from a place of personal insight and respect for their unique connection. It is important to remember that while rumors may swirl and accusations fly, we must carefully weigh what we know about their relationship against what is merely speculation. To understand why this belief holds so much weight, one must appreciate the history between Biggie and Diddy. Sean Combs discovered Christopher Wallace at a time when the young rapper's raw talent was undeniable, but his future uncertain. Puff Daddy's role was pivotal. He transformed Biggie from a promising talent into a global icon. Their collaboration produced some of the most influential hip-hop music of the 1990s, including albums like Ready to Die and Life After Death. Beyond the music, their personal relationship was reportedly close-knit. Diddy often referred to Biggie as a brother. This brotherhood complicates any narrative that paints Puff Daddy as a villain. Betraying or harming a best friend is a grave accusation, one that clashes with what many insiders and close acquaintances have shared about their bond. Of course, human relationships are complicated, and the music industry is notorious for its internal politics and rivalries. But the idea that Puff would orchestrate harm against Biggie feels incongruent with the personal history shared between them. Then there is Faith Evans, Biggie's wife and a powerful figure in her own right. Her defense of Diddy has raised eyebrows over the years. In interviews and public statements, she has consistently dismissed allegations that Diddy had any involvement in Biggie's death. She describes her relationship with both Biggie and Diddy as special, and often stresses that no one outside their inner circle truly understands what happened. Some see Faith's defense as a sign of loyalty and love, protecting the memory of Biggie and the man she married by standing by those who were closest to him. Others suspect that her defense hints at a deeper knowledge or possible involvement in a conspiracy. Charli Baltimore's whispers support the latter view, suggesting that Faith's vocal support for Diddy may be motivated by shared secrets or mutual protection. Yet, from a human perspective, it is hard to place oneself fully in Faith's position. Grieving a lost spouse while navigating the complicated and often dangerous world that surrounded Biggie must have been overwhelming. Her defense might be as much about survival, coping, and protecting her family as anything else. Charli Baltimore herself is a compelling figure in this narrative. She was not just a girlfriend, but also someone who had a front-row seat to Biggie's struggles, ambitions, and personal life. She witnessed firsthand the highs and lows, including the emotional turmoil brought on by infidelity and the pressures of fame. Her claim that both Diddy and Faith Evans knew the truth about Biggie's death suggests that she possesses knowledge that has been kept from the public eye. If true, this would mean that the official story is incomplete at best and deliberately misleading at worst. Charli's proximity to Biggie makes her words difficult to dismiss outright. She has a unique perspective shaped by personal experience. And while some may question her motives or reliability, it is clear that she feels compelled to share what she knows. The deaths of both Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls remain two of the most controversial and unsolved mysteries in music history. The circumstances surrounding Biggie's death have been the subject of numerous investigations, documentaries, and endless speculation. Allegations of corruption, conspiracy, and cover-ups have clouded the case, leaving many questions unanswered. In this shadowy environment, the claims that Diddy and Faith Evans had knowledge of what happened add fuel to an already intense fire. Whether motivated by guilt, protection, or other reasons, such secrets would have profound implications for everyone involved. Despite all these allegations, my conviction remains that Puff Daddy would never have harmed Biggie. I say this not as a blind fan, but as someone who has observed their relationship and understands the depth of their connection. Their relationship was rooted in trust, shared dreams, and mutual respect. Diddy invested heavily in Biggie's career, and their bond was often described as brotherly. While no relationship is perfect, especially in the high-pressure world of hip-hop, the idea of Puff orchestrating harm against his close friend runs counter to everything known about their connection. It is also important to consider the consequences such actions would have had on Diddy's own career and legacy. While some accuse him of being opportunistic after Biggie's death, making millions off his friend's legacy, it is hard to reconcile the idea that he would have risked everything by being directly involved in such a plot. This entire saga is a testament to the complex human emotions involved: loyalty, grief, betrayal, and love all tangled together. For Faith, for Charli, and for Puff Daddy, the experience of losing Biggie was deeply personal and traumatic. Each has had to navigate their grief while also managing public scrutiny and the pressures of fame. Understanding these dynamics helps to explain why the narrative around Biggie's death is so complicated and contested. It is more than just a crime story. It is a deeply human story filled with conflicting emotions and unresolved pain. The whispers from Charli Baltimore that Diddy and Faith Evans knew the truth about Biggie's death add a provocative layer to an already complex story. Whether those whispers are grounded in reality or are simply part of the swirling rumors, they highlight the ongoing need for clarity and justice. What remains clear is that the loss of Biggie Smalls left a void in music and in the lives of those closest to him. The truth about his death, whatever it may be, deserves to be uncovered, not only for the sake of justice, but to bring some measure of peace to a grieving family and a loyal fan base. Until then, all we can do is listen carefully to the voices of those who were there, weigh the evidence critically, and remember the legacy of a man who changed hip-hop forever. Now, brace yourselves, because if these rumors hold any truth, Faith might be one of the people who goes down alongside Diddy. To give a little context, Biggie and Charli's connection started back in the winter of 1995. Biggie wasn't just a friend, he actually helped Charli Baltimore break into the music scene. There's a story about how she once left a rap verse on his voicemail, and he was the one who pushed her to chase a career in rap. But all those plans came to a tragic halt when Biggie passed away in March of 1997. Their relationship was complicated, to say the least. Charli didn't hold back when she spoke about Biggie cheating on her. She even publicly shared the story of finding explicit photos of him with another woman, which sparked a fierce confrontation that ended with a hotel room getting trashed. She also admitted to throwing some of his jewelry into a pool, driven by jealousy. Charli opened up about how Biggie got Faith Evans pregnant while they were still together, and how he was too scared to break the news to her himself. In fact, she found out from Biggie's mother, not from him directly. Honestly, I think it was his mom who finally told me. Biggie kept avoiding it. His mom was urging him, saying, "You need to tell her what's going on," but he was scared. When I heard it from her, I was just stunned. But you know, their relationship wasn't always smooth. They had their fair share of arguments and went through that classic on-again, off-again phase. Biggie tried to explain some of the messiness by saying certain things happened during those turbulent times. While they were together, Biggie opened up to Charli about a lot: his dreams, his fears, and notably, his plan to leave Bad Boy Records and bring her along to a new label. He even confessed to Charli that he was genuinely scared for his life because of the move he was planning to make. That's the kind of thing Charli has been revealing lately. But here's where it gets darker. Rumors on the street suggest Faith Evans might have played a part in Biggie's death. Remember when Faith was asked if Diddy had anything to do with it? She defended him fiercely, saying their relationship was special, and even claimed she never had as close a bond with Biggie as Diddy did. According to her, no one could ever piece together Biggie's death with that conspiracy theory. She insisted that if anyone truly believed Puff was involved, lawsuits would have happened a long time ago. And trust me, they've been pushed to do just that. But ask yourself this: why does Faith insist that Biggie and Diddy had a great relationship when so many others say otherwise, claiming Diddy might have had a hand in Biggie's death? That's the real question. You might remember that Rolling Stone dropped a major article on Diddy, one that reportedly took 6 months to research. It spilled a lot of tea about Biggie's plans, with several insiders confirming he was seriously considering leaving Bad Boy Records. For example, Monique Bunn, a well-known hip-hop photographer from that era, specifically said Biggie was negotiating for his publishing rights and preparing to make the move. What's even more chilling is what happened after Biggie died. People who were interviewed revealed that Diddy pressured Bad Boy staff to shift their focus away from mourning and towards pushing the marketing and sales of Biggie's posthumous album, Life After Death. Instead of grieving, Diddy was obsessed with making sure that album became a bestseller. To make matters worse, Diddy reportedly tried to steal Biggie's shine. Kirk Burrows shared a story about how Rolling Stone offered Bad Boy a chance to honor Biggie's legacy with a cover feature. But instead of backing Biggie, Diddy insisted on taking the spotlight himself. Kirk recalled telling Diddy, "Let's make it about Biggie. You'll still get your chance for a cover later." But Diddy shut that down, saying, "No, he's dead. I'm dropping Combs' debut album, No Way Out, this July. I need that Rolling Stone cover." Sure enough, Diddy landed the 1997 cover titled Puff Daddy, the new king of hip-hop. The audacity was on full display. He even had B.I. written on his chest in Biggie's honor. The Rolling Stone article also revealed that 2 years after that cover, Diddy admitted in an interview that Biggie's death had made him millions. He said, "I think his passing added to the fame." Shockingly, at least 2 million of the nearly 5 million copies of No Way Out sold were directly because of Biggie's death. That reality might feel unsettling, but it's the truth. Kirk Burrows also revealed that Diddy was jealous of Biggie's friendship with Tupac before their feud exploded. Apparently, Diddy wanted to be friends with Pac, but Pac wasn't interested and didn't respect him. This adds fuel to the theory that Diddy actually started the beef, as Kirk mentioned that Diddy pushed Biggie to write antagonistic songs. In fact, Biggie's 1995 single, Who Shot Ya, was released by Diddy knowing it would be taken as a jab at Tupac. Even Biggie's own mother, Valletta Wallace, sensed something was deeply wrong. She always insisted foul play was involved in her son's death. In her 2005 book, Biggie, she wrote about how Biggie was exploited by Diddy. She recalled, "The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. That was the amount Puffy lured my son with. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then, at 19 years old. He had never seen that much at once in his life. It was enough money to make my son believe Puffy was ready to do anything for him. It bought blind love and loyalty." Valletta. Wallace also strongly believed that the LAPD conspired to keep the truth about Biggie's death hidden, convinced that justice was never fully pursued. Valletta Wallace spoke very openly and boldly about her belief in this conspiracy. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail, she revealed how every single day remains painful for her and the entire family. She said, "It hurts me every single day to know what happened to Christopher and that I will never see him again." She emphasized that it was not just her suffering. Biggie's sister Tiana feels the pain daily as well. "As a family, we have grieved collectively, and it never gets any easier for us," she shared. "Any mother who has lost a child knows exactly the devastation I feel. It is the worst pain in the world, one I would not wish even on my worst enemy." Valletta described her son as so young, so talented, and tragically taken far too soon. "It was unnecessary that Christopher lost his life at just 24. He was my baby and I think about him every day." She also explained how the anniversary of his death is a tough time for her. While she appreciates the tributes honoring him, she said, "It is very difficult for me and my family." Valletta boldly stated that the LAPD detectives who investigated the case knew who was responsible for her son's death. However, she believes a conspiracy stopped the case from being solved. "I know the LAPD did their investigation and found out what happened, but they refused to move forward, and I don't know why they